What if it's not about a building? What if it's not about stained glass or steeples? What if it's about just Jesus?
All right, Savannah, me and you, or you and I, we have set a New Year's resolution.
Yes.
We are going to pray every morning for 30 days and just see what kind of effect it takes.
Yes.
So before that, I kind of set my own New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
I had one specifically that I was gonna try, and I talked about it for about 2 weeks with my kids. I was gonna quit drinking sodas.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I made it one day.
Okay.
I made it 2 days, and on the third day, I was kind of committed to my daughter on this one, right? So I went to her and I said, I think I could keep this up, but I really don't want to. I really enjoy just having a Diet Coke or a Diet Mountain Dew every now and then. And I made it 2.5 days on this New Year's resolution. I feel like I've still done pretty well with the praying. I haven't missed a single day. And we're going to talk about that in a minute because I want to talk to you about it.
Mm-hmm.
But what if I did fail that New Year's resolution? Is there an expectation from God? I mean, shucks, we fail him all the time. We have to. That's just human nature, right? And human nature is exactly the same thing as Satan, right? They're friends.
Yeah.
So we fail him all the time. And what does that look like? Is that okay? And whether it's in our relationships with our friends, with our churches, with our people, we're going to fail all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, failing to a Christian can be a friend too.
That's true.
And the reason is because a lot of times when you fall, you get low, and it's almost a way of finding humility.
But if you fail, it means you're trying.
Yeah, come on.
Right.
And
if we never signed
say
up
that
for
again.
it, we wouldn't
Exactly.
fail at all.
You can't fail if you don't try.
Yeah,
So failure is almost a good sign. It means you're trying.
yeah, and like if you fail, it means you're trying.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know why, but I love Michael Jordan. he said if you never shoot,
Mm-hmm.
in order to be shooting, you would have to be missing.
Is it Wayne Gretzky that said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take?
Come on.
That's good. I always like if you shoot for the moon, you may hit the stars.
That's
That's a good one too.
That's a
Yeah.
different shoot, but that's
I know,
great.
but you try. I'm going to shoot for the moon, and I may miss, but I'm still going to hit the stars.
Heck yes.
All right. So Savannah, since we started our morning prayers,
Yes.
I've been at home. My routine hasn't changed. I've been pretty good at it. So I kind of got a routine. I get up, I go in the kitchen, and usually I take some medicine, some energy drinks, or something to get my day going.
Mm-hmm.
And I just take a moment and I stop there and I pray. I don't think it looks like it should. I'm not praying out loud. I'm not on my knees, but I just stop for a moment and take that moment to where I just talk to God, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your day and your week has not been normal.
No.
You've been on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
You've been out of your sorts.
Completely.
So how'd it go?
Well, I missed a few mornings, but I did pray throughout the day.
Okay.
A lot of it came from fear.
you went skiing out in
went
Colorado.
Yes. And so I have to say I probably did pray almost every day. So I did miss some. I was out of my routine, but I think it wasn't every morning, but there were prayers at some point throughout the day.
Okay, so talking about failed New Year's resolutions, and I don't think it's a fail. Don't get me wrong,
No,
Savannah.
because I don't count. I'm not going to count it until tomorrow morning. I'm back in my normal routine. Like this morning, I'm in my airport clothes. I'm rolled out of bed in my pajamas, and I didn't pray. Dang it! I'm starting off all wrong. I should have done it this morning.
Being slightly facetious, but I mean, does God care that we're on vacation? Does God care that we're out of our norm? Does God care? But at the same time, does God care that we fail? God just wants us to try, and that's exactly what she's doing, right?
I believe, honestly, I know I keep saying this, but this is what is coming to my heart right now. And I'm not trying to condone failure like it's the best thing that could ever happen to you. But I guess I'm saying don't give up. Don't stay where you're at. That's the whole problem with people and with failure. When you fail, it's kind of just like, oh, okay, I've failed. It's too late now. I'm just into this failure, and I might as well give up. I might as well turn back. But the thing is, don't keep tabs on how many times you fall. Just dust your knees off and get back up. Because if you stay down, if you stay in that place, then the enemy, then the evil forces, then everything that is against you wins.
Okay, so this is totally random, but I had a lot of time to think this week when I was out of town. It's quiet, you're on a ski lift or you're on a mountain, and I'm sitting here thinking I'm in a new spot and I'm in a new place around people who don't know me. And it's funny we talked about it this morning, Stephen, because I actually thought this when I was sitting there because we were talking about the podcast and talking about all of this, and I'm sitting there thinking, do people around me, can they look at me? Do they know that I'm a Christian? I've not said anything to these people. I've not spoken about, God or Jesus or any of those things, but can they tell? Am I shining my light enough? Can they tell that I'm a Christian, but I haven't said anything?
And that's a good question, Cory. So she's there in Colorado.
Because I literally thought this.
Hundreds of miles away, and she doesn't have a shirt on that says, I'm a Jesus follower. And even if she's a good person, she's an extrovert, she's talking, she's being friendly, she's shining a light. Is it our responsibility to do certain things to look like a Christian to other people?
But that almost makes me feel like a failure because I'm sitting here now. It's all kind of coming circle because I swear that it was a thought that I had.
She was
I know,
so mean to people.
Well, I know where I was sitting when I thought it. I was sitting out by the ice skating rink and we were warming up, and I thought, I wonder if these people know that I'm a Christian. But I feel like I failed because I didn't say anything about God or Jesus to anyone except my family the entire trip.
Well, hold on. Did you look at anybody there and think they're not a Christian or they are a Christian?
I wondered. I looked around wondering, like, are these people, what do they believe?
But what was your thought process? Was it, I'm going to judge them, or, man, if they don't, can I introduce them to God? Can I introduce them to Jesus here?
No, so that was my thought because I thought, why not?
I'm glad you say all this about, can they tell? Or I'm kind of upset because I didn't
say anything.
Anything. But the thing is the Bible says that face answers to face underwater.
What does that mean?
That means you can't talk underwater, right? No. You can't breathe underwater. So what it means is you're not talking, but in life, are you putting a smile on your face? Mm-hmm. Are you making gestures in your everyday walk when you see people that you show them your best positive side? Because I believe that is what God expects. Even when your life is in shambles, if you wanted to just think that, if you were not having the best day, I think that is what putting the cross on your back means. Bear the cross, as Jesus said, take up your cross daily and follow me. Mm-hmm. That means you're going to do the work of a Christian. You're going to follow Christ when it hurts, when it don't feel good, when you don't feel like talking, when you don't feel like walking into a place full of people. You do it anyways, because if you, like you said, if you never shoot, say that again, what Gretzky said.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, so how many times in our lives do we say, oh, I'm not even going there. I'm not even going to go into that place. I'm not even going to leave the house. I'm not, on and on and on, because really you don't want to have interaction with people. Well, if you don't have interaction with people, then you cannot reach people, and more than that, save people.
Well, hold on. So are you saying that all Christians should be extroverts? Because, man, you've got introverts, you've got extroverts, and then I think you've got introverted extroverts, right?
Yes, I am. And I'm saying that for this reason. Jesus said this one thing, and it's the only way that you can even be like God and walk like Christ is you must be born again.
So if you are introverted, Jesus is going to help you become an extrovert?
Yes.
Well, hold on now. And we're not psychologists, but I think most introverts try to avoid large situations, mostly because of their own self-conscious, right? Or their
Right.
own self-awareness or their own
Confidence.
self-doubts,
or-
confidence. So I would consider both you guys extroverts.
Thank you.
Yeah. Safe, yeah.
Yeah. So me, I
You
think,
too.
well, I think I'm an introverted extrovert.
Okay, I can see that. You don't just start up. If somebody comes to you, then you're all in.
Right. I'm good to be by myself. So when's the last time like you guys went into a restaurant to eat by yourself, or went into the movies to watch a movie by yourself, or do anything just in content by yourself?
I think that's one of the big things as being a Christian. A lot of people are afraid to be alone. A lot of people love to be alone. And
I like both. I can do alone. It's nice to have the quiet, but I like to be around people.
that's a gift, by the way. It's a blessing.
Yeah, me too. And I'm right there with you. But if my wife came to me and said, "Hey, we got to get together tonight. We go to. You want to go?"
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to
so
go.
you're all about it. Corey'd be all about it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, nah, it doesn't matter. I mean, we can stay here and have a good time, watch some TV, or we can go socialize.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good either way.
I could be good either way, but if I have a choice, then more than likely, let's get dressed up and go.
Right. But like, you don't have to turn a light switch on. You don't have to, okay, let me get mentally ready. Let me get some conversation points together. Let me.
Well, it's funny you say that because one of my best friends, it's funny because I do have those moments. Sometimes she and I will talk and we're like, we're going to have to be on. You know,
Right.
we got to turn it on. We got to be on all day or this or that. And we're in these social situations. But it's nice when you have those people around you that know that about you and you can just be you.
Now, like your husband, Lane. Me and Lane could sit in the same room together,
Mhm.
never say a word, and both of us be content.
Yeah.
Or
But you're comfortable together too.
even uncomfortable. I'm okay being uncomfortably comfortable.
What's that look like?
Right. So, but like I imagine, Corey, that both of you guys can't sit in silence. Like you're going to be talking.
Okay, do you know how
I-
many random people that I made conversation with this past week just to talk to people?
Right. So I'm
I
terrible
talk to
at small
everybody.
talk. Yeah, small talk is not my thing. I can talk about the weather, the news, and that's about all I got.
I talked to some young 20-year-old boy about his bologna sandwich.
Now I do think in my last 10 years, I've gotten better at small talk and better at those conversation starters and being more of a natural extrovert. But that's not me. I'm not comfortable doing that. But you're saying, Corey, that that's the expectation of God, of us being an extrovert and always talking about the Word of God or being that light that everyone wants to be like, right?
That's the goal, right?
That's the goal. I think that it's okay however you are, but so many people, especially Christians, especially Christian organizations, they're screaming, "Come as you are, just come as you are," and that's great. You definitely want that. Come as you are. Like you don't have to dress a certain way. You don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to do this or do that. Just come, however you're comfortable. But the thing that really needs to be brought to attention is when you literally make the decision to become a Christian, Jesus says in order to do that, you must be born again. And so, however you were before Christ, something has to happen as a transformation in your life in order to start taking on this kind of mission and mission field in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, you need to be saved.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get saved, it's no longer about you. It's about you reaching out as the hands and feet of Jesus to help others realize that it's something they need too. Because how many times in life have you needed something and didn't realize it? But once you
Mm-hmm.
got it, you were like, how did I ever live without it?
But I think once you're saying, once you become born again, when your faith grows and your relationship with God becomes stronger, if you would have asked me a month ago, even, would you go up and talk to somebody about Jesus? Do they know? I would have been like sweaty palmed and nervous. But now, thinking in my mind, I think I could do it.
But
I know you could do it.
Could you do it without offending them or putting them on defense?
I think I could, because I'm a charmer.
Right. That's the part I struggle with. Like, how can I do it in a way that's not offensive or not a I'm better than you type attitude? Because I feel like that's how it comes across a lot.
Well, and I could see that, and I'm glad that you think that way, because many people would just try to shove it down somebody's throat. But in other ways, it could hurt you a little bit because you might not even give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And if you don't ever shoot, then
You missed 100%
But
of the shots.
look at this though. Sometimes you may offend people, but then you become best friends. Look at you two.
yeah.
Even if you think that you're worried about offending people, you don't know how the relationship is going to turn around.
Man, that's completely true.
That's a good point.
All right, Cory. So you walk into a room of 15 people.
Right.
You're looking around, you're watching people. In your perception, what does the Christians in the room look like? Are they over there wearing the cross with the Jesus shirt on, talking about Jesus?
No.
Or
Sometimes you don't know.
right, but that's what what are you looking for when you walk in a room?
I think, first of all, it doesn't matter what you look like
100%.
physically.
No, yeah, it doesn't.
So many people are excited and on fire about their salvation, and you're wearing, your Jesus shirt, your fish, your cross on your necklace, and all these things, and your tattoos even, and that's great. That is so good. But the way I feel about it, I don't need any signs on me physically.
Okay, so you're looking past the physical first glance.
The first thing I'm looking for when I talk to somebody is humility. Do you accept me?
But when you walk in a room, what's the first thing you think when you're judging the room? We all judge a room when we walk in it.
Is somebody kind? Is somebody overflowing with that word humility? Do they seem humble and down to earth and like they would be kind to anybody? You can automatically tell those people because as soon as you walk in, they're probably going to be doing that. They're probably going to be the ones that are interacting and maybe even embracing and always smiling and always seeming positive and putting off positive energy. That is a thing that's happening inside out with a Christian, from the inside out, because there is a regenerating joy that is circulating through that person and from the inside out, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's going on in the surroundings. And when you see those people and you come in contact with those people, it's a different experience.
You can't judge a book by its cover. We've talked about that. You don't know what's on the outside is really what's on the inside, because a lot of it could be a front. You don't know.
And then there are those introvert people that you talk about that are not easy for them to be in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's not easy for them, but they may not be jumping around smiling and hugging all over people and talking to everybody, but if for some reason you come in contact with them and you start to interact and you see, whoa, this overly kindness, and don't feel no kind of judgment and this great humility. And so just because they're not talking and smiling and being so positive, maybe they're sitting over really quiet. So it's like you said, or maybe they have blue hair and tattoos. Um, None of that really matters the most until you actually come into contact with those people.
You got to see the fruits.
Yes, you do got to see the fruits, and that's just biblical. I mean, if you want to know, you should be able to tell first impression of a person. You should be able to tell then, because their life is going to be projecting the fruits of the Spirit.
All right. So we talked in the previous episode that we need to be like Jesus. So you walk in a room, what would Jesus be doing in a room of 15 people?
I think he would definitely be interacting with them and all of them kindness, if not teaching in the whole capacity of people.
Okay, so you think no matter the situation, Jesus would be in there talking about God and spreading the word.
And maybe even healing and doing miraculous things.
Okay, so for us to maintain a normalism in these things, and I guess I'm pulling at straws trying to get...
You did say Jesus, so that's a big extreme.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, I'm not saying you need to jump in a room and start doing miracles or saving people immediately.
All right, so let's go Jesus pre the wedding, pre miracles and pre healings.
The wedding. What wedding?
Oh yeah, you know what? We haven't talked about that. That's such a big thing. That's the first miracle that Jesus did. He turned water into wine.
Yeah.
And so pre his first miracle, pre his first healing, anything that he's done as far as miraculously, or at least to the best that I can remember.
Yeah.
Pre that, what does that look like for Jesus?
Well, when he was 12,
what would Jesus do?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What would he do in a social gathering?
yeah,
Would
when
he be the one that meets you at the door and says, "Welcome, come on, we're over here"?
I believe he would. When he was 12 years old, a lot of people may not even know this. It was one of the only recordings of him from the time he was a child until he was 30, which is when he done his first miracle and turned the water into wine. His parents had went to a feast and they were coming back home and realized he wasn't with them. And they misplaced him. They lost sight of him. So they started basically in a panic and hurried back to the temple.
I saw a meme about this. It said, when you feel like you're being a bad parent, don't forget Mary and Joseph lost Jesus for 3 days.
Yeah, they
I feel
lost.
like a lot of your knowledge comes from memes.
Yeah. And that's good.
That
or
VeggieTales.
VeggieTales, yeah. So they come back and they find him in the temple teaching like doctors and lawyers.
Holy smokes. Okay.
And they're blown away on one hand, but I'm sure his mother's like, yeah, I know you're special because I had you as a virgin.
Yeah, you're kind of a big deal.
I mean, just think about that alone.
Immaculate conception.
Right. So instead of just trying to paint pictures and get you to come up with some scenario that doesn't exist, but so you're looking for, like Savannah said, you're looking for the fruits. And what does that mean? Like, what are some of the fruits that we're looking for in the people? Because we're not all extroverts.
I think the smile is a big one. When you see people smiling,
Smile's huge.
and they're welcoming. Or you can, I don't know, sometimes you can just look at people and see the warmth in their eyes.
You could think about when you were even in school, walking through the halls, and the people that never even looked at you, or the people that smiled at you from the time you gained eye contact until the time you passed, and it maybe even waved at you. It is such a good positive thing to know when you feel accepted, especially if you're a person that is down and you feel down and out and you feel broken and you don't know what anybody is going through when you cross paths. Somebody may have just lost a loved one. Someone may have just moved into town and they've left most of their family and they're in a very unfamiliar place. Some people may have went through a divorce. Some people may have lost their job. You never know what somebody's going through. And it's always so Jesus-like to be kind, to be loving. Love is one of the fruits of the Spirit. Joy, peace. When somebody gets around you, do they feel loved? Do they feel joy? Do they feel better when they left you than before they came into your presence? And I believe I've said this before, but you really should be like a sanctuary, a haven, a hideaway to people, a refuge that when they come into you, they feel safe. They feel embraced and feel like they can go on once they meet with you. That's what I think a Christian looks like. Peace. When I come into your presence, whoever you are as a Christian, I should feel peace. Like all my chaotic things in my life that is upside down and the everyday rigors that I've been facing, when I come into your presence, Christian, I should feel peace and I should feel patience. Like I could be running around like a chicken with my head cut off and everything's going crazy and life is hectic. When I come into your presence and I start talking to you, I should feel at ease. I should feel your patience with me and able to open up and talk with you, and all my guards come down because I feel you accepting me, because most of the world don't understand me, or most of the world don't think I'm worth talking to because they've already judged me because I may look different. I may be homeless. I may not have anything to offer anybody, so it seems. But if I'm homeless and I come into the presence of a Christian, I should feel like I just walked into a shelter, because that's what Jesus looks like to me, a gentle person with arms wide open.
So even as an introvert, we can do many things, like you just said, that involve the fruit of the Spirit, things that we can show we're Christians, things that show we're Jesus followers, that we believe in God, and we want to bring people to us. I saw a thing on Facebook one time. It says, "I'm not intimidating. I can't help that you're intimidated." But,
That's good.
you think about that from a Christian aspect. We all hang out in groups of people we know.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if we're a group of a church and we all go to an event, we isolate ourselves and hang out with the people we know, hang out with that church group we know, and we're unintentionally,
Making clicks.
yeah, and we're intimidating, because we're intimidated as a group, or we're intimidating as a group. We're isolating ourselves and pushing people away without even knowing it. We may be extroverts among our own.
And Paul said something so powerful. The apostle, he said, I became all things to all men, that I may win some to Christ. To the Jew, I became a Jew.
Mm-hmm.
To the weak, I became weak. In other words, like you said, if I'm broken in any way and I'm not very confident, and I come into your presence and you're confident and you're standing tall, you, whoever you are, us in this room, we may be confident, but we also need to succumb to that person as we feel that they're not so confident.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to be able to lower ourselves to where they are to get on their level so that all of their insecurities can subside for a moment so I can really let you know it's okay. It doesn't matter what's happened to you or where you've been or how much wrong you've done or what kind of background you have. I'm going to come to where you are because that's what Jesus done for every one of us. He literally rolled up his sleeves and reached down into our mess and pulled us up. And there's lots of people that are insecure and that are broken and that are looking for a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that's what being a Christian is. It's just being able to come down to a person's lowest estate, to pull them out of the ditches, to pull them out of the
Dumpster
dark.
fire.
Yes.
Right.
The dumpster fire.
Listen,
Yeah.
I know.
Yes. To roll them out of the dumpster fire, whatever that looks like.
Man, so we went through this whole thing, and really, there is no what does a Christian look like. We can kind of dial in what it doesn't look like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I want to say this too. If somebody saw you from afar and say you did look a certain way, you were dressed a certain way, maybe nice, maybe you look well kept. And what if somebody said immediately, well, I'm not even going to approach them because they're just not even on my level. Like, whether that be above or below who you are, we need to be okay with that. Somebody may look at me and not even want to approach me for whatever the reason. I don't even know what it would be, but for whatever it is, and I can't do nothing about that. I mean, I need to try in every way I can to be the humblest person I can be and to be positive. But if somebody doesn't give me a chance for whatever the reason, then I can't do nothing about that.
Well, that's why they say actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have to try to show that you're approachable and you show your kindness by your smile or your body language.
And let me say this. Now, don't just, I'm talking to the Christian, don't just give up and walk away from that person if you've seen them or if you felt like you could be some kind of help or you could talk to them and encourage them. Don't walk away from them because maybe they were looking at you and maybe even thinking about approaching you but didn't. Like, maybe you should approach them. That's also what I think Jesus would do and did. Not only did he come from heaven to earth to pursue us. So I do think that we should pursue a lot in this life. And not just anybody. This could get a little confusing, but you will learn this as you go as a Christian. You don't have to start out this way, but you will get to a place with God to where you can communicate with God, and God will lead you to the people that I'm talking about, people you need to pursue, people that only you, Stephen, were put here to reach.
Man, and
You,
that's funny
Savannah.
you say that because often I think, man, I'm just trying to get myself to heaven. That's hard enough. Like I fail so many times or I fall short so many times. I can't worry about getting someone else there.
But we're already going.
Right.
So we don't have to worry about that anymore. We have committed and we're living our lives that way.
Come on.
So now we just have to show our fruits so people want to be with us, like
Right.
us.
And we often get, and I think that's where Cory was going, and I didn't mean to cut you off. We often get in the mindset of, I got to worry about me.
Yeah.
It's just me. I got to keep me on track.
Some people never get out of that mindset. I mean, Stephen, you're saying those things right there, and that's very legit. And a lot of people feel that way as new Christians.
I don't think it's just new Christians. I think it's all Christians.
I do, but also, how long are you talking from your experience? A year?
Oh yeah, a little over a year.
So
year and a half.
that's what I'm saying.
We're baby Christians.
People do feel that way, but people like you, Savannah, and people like you, Stephen, like you, I believe, are the real deal.
I
believe you really got a hold of it.
I want people to feel what I feel.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is your mindset will change and you will become stronger. You will daily get more knowledge about God and understanding about people and what it's supposed to look like and what you're supposed to be doing and who you're supposed to be reaching out to. And God knows exactly the people in this world that need to be touched and moved by Stephen, by Savannah, by Cory. Don't let it overwhelm you for what you don't know. Jesus said this in his own red letters. In John 14, he said, "Let not your heart be troubled. Do not let your heart be troubled or be afraid, because you're thinking about it in so many ways and letting it handicap you because you're trying to make sense of it. You're trying to make it be logical. That's not what God wants. God wants you to just say, okay, God, whatever you want, show me. And he won't do that to everybody, but he will do it to the people that take the step of faith and are willing. And don't let the big unknowns get in the way. Just take it step by step and say, okay, I'm going to start here. Jesus, just come into my life. And this is literally the way it works. Jesus, come into my heart. The Son of God, the one and only Son of God, full of grace and truth. I've tried it my way. I want it your way now, God. I'm asking Jesus, come into my heart and lead me and guide me in the ways of God and show me what I need to do and how I need to speak and how I need to be. And I promise you, it is that simple. Just take the step and God will show you the rest. Don't be afraid. And if you're a Christian, don't dread the crowds. Even if you do, try not to. Don't just turn it away because it may be an opportunity for you to help somebody, to reach somebody, to touch somebody, to change somebody, to save somebody. Don't be afraid to reach out and put a smile on your face and to get out of your comfort zone to approach someone. Don't be afraid of what you don't know. God has already put in you what you need for every situation. Be blessed.